I play John Paul McQueen. He's a 17-year-old student, and he was recently outed by an experience he had with one of his best friends who he fell in love with. So he had to deal with the whole coming out process, telling his family, telling his classmates, and generally sort of coming to terms with his sexuality. And he was recently outed by an experience he had with one of his best friends who he fell in love with. So he had to deal with the whole coming out process, telling his family, telling his classmates, and generally sort of coming to terms with his sexuality in the world of Hollyoaks. It was more verbal and emotional.
I can't do that to her.
Well, I'm just trying to sort this.
Well, do you not think I've hurt her enough?
What about me?
There were kind of instances of physical bullying, but they weren't really because of his sexuality. It was more because he was sticking up for his friend, and obviously we shared a bit of a kiss, and that was witnessed by people, which obviously, you know, caused a bit of physical abuse. Championship. Shipwrecked. The dreadful thing was that my character wasn't ready to come out. He hadn't even made a decision that he was gay. Or he wasn't even sure of his own emotions or feelings. He just fell in love with someone who happened to be a boy. We now know that he is gay, but at the time it was just all too much for him.
So you admit it?
His older sister Jackie, who's been to prison and is quite worldly and wise. We've had a lot of kind of late night conversations and around the kitchen table about things, which was lovely to play.
I don't know what you mean.
I mean, when someone says that you're gay, it's like they're saying you're a pansy. You know, you like soft furnishings and musicals. When actually, wanting to have sex with a big sweaty bloke is about the least gay thing I can think of.
Cheese and onion. Clean shave. There's pluses and negatives. I mean, obviously, once it's out in the open, it's out, and that's it. You know, there's no other hurdle to get past. Everyone knows, so you've just got to deal with it. But like I say, in the same sense, he wasn't ready to tell anyone. He wasn't ready to really accept it himself.
I said, I'm sorry.
We'd have to go and tell everyone. Would even have to try and kiss me.
Craig!
Now the story's kind of progressed. It's a good thing that he's kind of out and proud, as it were, because he's able to sort of, you know, get a boyfriend and explore the sort of sexual, physical side of his life.
You're a queer? It doesn't get much worse than that.
Who threw that?
That was very, very sad, but also very realistic. There are people with those views which are, you know, kind of old-fashioned. It's ignorance, in the same way that racist bullying is ignorance. It kind of makes me really angry when people kind of pigeonhole people, especially with things like sexuality, because it's not gay and straight. There's like a whole kaleidoscope of different, you know, you fall somewhere in this kaleidoscope, and it doesn't really, it doesn't matter, and it just makes me a bit angry.
Your turn, Dean. Or are you too much of a puffer to admit?
This is the language that unfortunately kids at school, you know, they use every day, and it's really, really sad that the term gay has become such an insult. You know, it's very, very hurtful. I really wouldn't know how to get around that, really, because there were so many youngsters who are going through exactly what John Paul's gone through, which is a very, you know, obviously I haven't been through it, but I imagine it's a very scary, difficult, confusing time. Although John Paul's did have it hard at the beginning, now that he's got the support of his family, and you know, he's able to kind of explore what it is to be a young gay man. You know, he's finding out about, you know, relationships and the physical side of it and stuff, which is really important to young people, because this stuff goes on all the time. You know, dress down, Beyonce. I think Hollyoaks should be really, really proud of exploring something like this, because I don't know of any other soap that's done a young person like this. It has made a difference to youngsters.